Hello and welcome to these interactions. We have with us M.K. Venu, one of the most important journalists of the country at this point of time, or for a considerable period of time. M.K. Venu has been a legacy journalist in very many newspapers and very many television channels, but then he is now known as one of the founders, one of the co-founders of The Wire, the most important online portal in India, which is also known as a platform of honest and objective journalism, which in other words can also be said as journalism of resistance. Venu, welcome to this program. Well, I was told that, that since we go back a long way and we have known each other for some 3 decades now, right from my, first decade in Delhi. Now, of course, The Wire is 10 years old. You have been on various legacy media platforms, both in print as well as in television. And now Wire has completed 10 years and, of course, you have also been receiving a lot of recognition from across the world, and Kerala has also added to that list now.
Kerala is a big supporter of Wire. Right?
Yeah. Kerala has. So, how do you differentiate between your experiences in the legacy media and these 10 years of print? How do you qualify them, or maybe in a brief? Yeah.
Actually, as I said in my brief presentation, legacy media, I've most of my life I've been with legacy media, newspapers, like you.
Yeah.
We are all, in that sense, we are all dinosaurs of the, So, the last 10 years, we did, I and my partner Siddharth Vardarajan and Siddharth Bhatt, we did online. And it coincided with it is just, I think, it's a coincidence that our 10 years of Wire also coincided with Modi's 10 years.
Yeah.
So that provided us a huge challenge and opportunity. And opportunity was just to, as I said, speak the truth. Present facts when a lot of the other mainstream media was not doing so, barring some newspapers, mainstream newspapers. So we could move into that breach and really provide a good platform of news analysis, truths to the audience. So that has been a big change for us in terms of our experience of journalism.
Right.
Now it's a counterfactual. If this government hadn't come to power, if it had normal coalition government of the past, I don't know what our experience would have been, because there the political middle ground would have been much larger. So here people have come to us because polarization of politics has created polarization of audiences, readers. So that has brought us a large number of readers who are also our supporters, because we are a non-profit media, donors. So that's what I would say. I don't know how Wire would have done
if the situation was different.
Different,
Yeah. But then, of course, you also faced a lot of restrictions. You also faced very many limitations in terms of fundraising, and then, of course, the government itself kind of went after you. In the sense, it went after the organization, and they kind of involved you in too many cases. And there was a time when recently that there were very big charges raised against.
True.
So, how was that experience? Because in the legacy media, of course, you may get criticized. You may get somebody may call you and say that what you did was not right, or I will dekha jayega, kind of things.
Yeah.
But then it never came to such concrete measures. I mean,
You're right. We were from day one. We were hounded by the regime, the government. They filed cases against us. a large number of cases came from government and the proxies of government, like big businessmen filed cases against us. Anil Ambani filed several, one 5,000 crore damages case he filed on a story that I did. Then on another video we did on the Rafale issue, the corruption Rafale. I interviewed a defense expert, Ajay Shukla, very well-known defense expert. So there was a 6,000 crore damages suit. Many other proxies. Zee TV owner filed cases against us, Subhash Chandra. Sri Ravi Shankar tried to file case against us. And even basically all those who were close to the ecosystem of this regime, Narendra Modi. And that harassment, did cost us. They imposed cost on us. Like our legal expenses went up. Although we have lawyers who do pro bono work for us. In spite of that, in far-flung areas, you have to pay the lawyers something.
Yeah,
for appearance. So in Delhi, big lawyers appeared for us free. All forms of harassment, it does interfere with your editorial work. But equally, this regime, by constantly harassing us, they enhanced our brand value, our name in a big way. So that's why I tell people that our biggest brand managers have been probably Amit Shah and Mr. Modi. They in a way, they built our brand pro bono. We didn't have to pay them,
So how was it? Because you have also a strong, dedicated team of journalists who work with you, right from young journalists to experienced, seasoned. Say somebody like from Karan Thapar to the. So how do they contribute, and what is the kind of understanding that you have with people like this?
So Venki, we have a very simple policy. It's basically an idea that we have created a platform. Now we do not have the financial wherewithal to hire good people, experienced people.
Yeah.
See, if you look at The Wire, some of the best writers are the ones who are legacy media people. Harish Kare, Prem Shankar Jha. There are any number of them.
Yeah.
And on the video side, Karan Thapar was the best interviewer, right? Everybody knows. So he came to our platform on a profit sharing basis. Okay. So now what we do is since video is a revenue generator, our policy is that we tell like-minded people to come on our platform. Yeah. And whatever
whatever earnings you make, then you share this.
We share it. And Karan Thapar has been quite happy with his experience on The Wire, because he's built a completely separate brand and identity for himself on The Wire.
Yeah.
If you remember, similarly we had in our initial period, 16 to 20 later 2020, we had Vinod Dua, who unfortunately passed away after COVID. He was also a big name. And he also came on The Wire platform.
Right.
And I remember Vinod Dua said in one of his interviews that what he really loved was the simplicity of The Wire. Like he would come to our office and actually sit on my table. And there was one camera mounted in front of him, and he'll just he'll give a 10-15 minute news analysis roundup. So according to Vinod, he had never experienced such simplicity
in terms of production.
In production, because he was used to very elaborate, luxurious, expensive studios.
Studios and minute planning and
Indie TV, various. He was the Prannoy Roy and he were used to do election analysis 30 years ago. So that it stayed with me. What Vinod told me was, what he told me really sort of stayed with me. That simplicity is the key. I think simplicity is what drives small online media. I think Vinod captured it in this term.
Right. But I think, that if you extend that simplicity argument a little more, there is, of course, there are media theorists who are talking about this. They're saying that in this era of social media, the concept of mainstream journalism that we had in the 80s when I came into journalism. I think you must have also come around the same time. Mid 1980s.
83,
Yeah, same year then. So, see, there was this concept that, when, of course, when I joined the Hindu in 1991, K.N., the legendary editor, news editor, he was always say that, that you have to look at all the sides. You have to present all the sides. So, the famous joke about the Hindu sentence, on the one hand, on the other hand.
Also, if there's a fire in your office, you should check with the fire officer before writing the story.
So basically, that approach was there. But I think it's a fair approach in a sense, to look at all aspects. But what media theorists are talking about is that, that in the era of social media, it's one-sided content that works. Like, for example, even if you are doing anti-establishment work, which is the work of the media, but it has to be presented in an aggressive, one-sided manner. That's also simple, sometimes simplistic. So, when you extend that argument, do you think that, that all these portals, all these media, social media portals, they have a built-in handicap in presenting proper, authentic journalism?
So, so Venki, I have a nuanced view on this, which is the politics is so polarized, and the regime, the ruling party, has created such a one-sided narrative through their friendly media, which is 80-90% of the media, that you have to necessarily counter it with a equally sharp, anti-establishment narrative, because if we start doing on this, on the one hand, on the other hand, when the other side is coming at you coming at the audiences, at society, like a tsunami, so it won't work. So my theory is that this is happening because of polarized politics. The moment politics normalizes and the middle ground expands, what you are saying will naturally happen. Both sides will actually become more balanced, in my view.
Yeah, I think that's a very valid.
Many people have asked why aren't you say 5 things that Modi has done which are positive. Why aren't you highlighting it or analyzing it? So our answer is there are huge media organizations with circulation of 15, readership of 20 million, 25 million. They are doing it. So we have to do the other side, other part. So you can see it in a more broader, comprehensive. To get a comprehensive view, you have to then go through several media.
That's a very strange thing. Basically, the point is the credibility quotient in media is now being rated not in terms of how you do journalism as per the traditional, conventional concept of journalism.
There is. Like you've been Venki, both of us have spent almost now 40 years in journalism. Have you ever seen anti-opposition journalism? Like completely anti-opposition journalism. It is in the last 10 years we are experiencing this.
Especially in the last 6-7 years.
It is totally alien to us, right? So then how do you fit in the balanced journalism example in this anti-opposition journalism? So I am unabashed about that. If the mainstream media is going after the opposition, we should project the opposition's view. At least there will be some balance that way.
So it's not just about the understanding, the conventional understanding of good journalism as we used to understand it. You're saying that even the parameters have changed dramatically, and in this new paradigm we need to have new systems. So when you cover non-political issues also, there is this huge gap that is that there are sections of, say, art, cinema, music, and all that, which is kind of being projected in the so-called mainstream media or Godi media as we call it now. So I think it's something that covers the entire spectrum, right?
So Venki, because of resource constraints, we are not able to cover sports or art. We have one cinema reviewer. So as I said, our resources are so limited that we have to confine ourselves to the core issues. Being a very small media platform with limited resources, we have to choose. Take 5-6 issues of the day and just focus on that, which are very critical to society in terms of politics, economics, foreign policy. We are not able to. We do take contributions, good contributions from people at the intersection of art and politics. But pure cinema, we have a film reviewer, but we don't really cover cinema as entertainment or sports as entertainment. We don't cover. Sometimes if there's something relating to politics or sports, it appears. We have writers who do it, outside writers. Most of the contributions come from outside. The good analysis, perspective, history, it comes from the outside. We don't have in-house writers. We have barely young reporters, about say 5 or 6 young reporters, who basically just go do ground reports. So, but other analysis, it comes from
people like Harish Khare.
Yeah, people like Harish Khare, Prem Shankar Jha. We have many writers who write ex-bureaucrats with experience, institutional memory, ex-IFS officers, ambassadors, etc. So, also I wanted to add to that question of yours on the balance bit.
Yeah.
If large number of Godi media, what is called, they are doing anti-opposition journalism. So we give the opposition a voice, and in that process, what is to our advantage is that we are far more factual than them.
Yeah.
So you are not building a narrative without facts.
Right.
Where the other side is building narrative without they don't need facts to build a narrative, and that narrative is perpetuated on the TV channels.
Yeah, I think that is a very important nuance or differentiation which you kind of pointed out, because if you look at the last India-Pak tussle, the war that happened, the kind of shouting that we saw on mainstream television channels, exhorting Indian Army to go and capture Karachi and all that. I think that restraint that was shown by from the non-Godi media, I think that's a very important differentiation which you have highlighted.
Yeah. So that differentiation occurs in other aspects of coverage also.
Yeah.
In fact, I would say that what happened with the Operation Sindoor, the way mainstream media channels declared that Karachi is being captured, I think they brought immense discredit to media
as a whole. Yeah.
And we have to bear the brunt, because to an outsider, all media is the same. To the non-discerning, outsider, they think, media's credibility is gone. So we have to confront that also,
Apart from these constraints and the kind of you talked about the political system and how that is reflecting in the media, what are your personal experiences in terms of this political witch hunt or
like personal experiences are going to the courts all the time, cases being filed in far-flung areas. Once the Adani group had filed a case in Bhuj, so I had to take a midnight Air India flight which was coming from abroad, stop over Delhi and then go to Bombay. So I would take the flight at night, 12:30, reach Bombay at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, then take a morning 4 o'clock flight to reach Bhuj, come back the same day. It took a toll on our basically on our bodies, mentally also, and constantly rushing to Ahmedabad for various cases filed against us by Anil Ambani or by Amit Shah's son, Jay Shah. All those cases, of course, they petered out. And similarly, if we did a wrong story, we make mistakes in journalism, right?
Yeah.
So we did one story on which talked about Facebook's tie-up with the BJP IT cell chief, and one freelancer wrote the story for us and he quoted some Facebook official, Singapore-based official, which turned out to be false. So we apologized, saying that, okay, the story has gone wrong, we took it down.
Yeah.
But Amit Malviya filed a case, criminal case against us. Now, this was pure harassment. When a newspaper goes wrong, it says we have gone
the
wrong.
only thing that it can say is, that we are sorry.
Yeah, that we
made a mistake.
We made a mistake. So, Delhi police raided all our houses, Siddharth Varadarajan's house, simultaneous raids. 11 people landed in my, police people landed in my house. My wife was completely shaken. She called me and said, all the police guys are sitting here, you please come. They took away all our devices, iPads and phone. Siddharth Varadarajan's house, they were there for 2-3 hours. My house, 1.5-2 hours. Bombay, my third partner, his house was raided. Our office was raided with, and at least 5-6 policemen were there. They took away all our computers, hard disks, accounts, all our data, all our were taken away. Then we went to court and we got them released. We won the case at the lower court. The judge gave a very good order saying that this is not the way to treat media people. So that harassment and there are other forms of harassment.
Could you elaborate on other forms of harassment?
Other forms of harassment would be in the nature of, recently the Assam police filed a case against Karan Thapar, Siddharth Varadarajan for simple reporting of what an army officer said in Indonesia about India having lost planes, right?
Yeah.
So, and some other stories. This Assam police, of course, was activated by the Assam Chief Minister. And so we went to the Supreme Court to seek protection. We've gone to the Supreme Court many times to seek protection. Yogi Adityanath has been filing criminal cases against the wire, sedition cases, other cases, against the wire in the past. So the reporters get discouraged. A lot of reporters leave because they cannot, beyond a point, they are unable to sort of absorb such harassment, and such psychological assaults. So that also has happened with us, and other forms of harassment would also include occasionally if some company finds Wire a good platform to give a sponsorship.
That's also a big problem.
So the government regime has clearly sent signals to any potential funder of Wire or sponsor that if you touch Wire, we'll go after you. So that's the other form of. For instance, the Independent Public Spirited Media Foundation, Azim Premji Trust, which gave us the first big donation. They had collected 130 odd crores to fund online media, independent online media. So they gave us funding. They also gave others, like Caravan. They gave the Swaraj, even some right wing, Barkha Dutt and many others. So this regime decided to just go after the source, and there were tax raids on. Notices were sent to Azim Premji Media Trust, and they said, of course, they filed. They went to court, and they've challenged the tax notices. Basically, the tax notices to them, basically they say they argue that income tax department argues that their activity is not legal. So
activity is not legal.
Basically the case is that they're funding. They also fund profitable organizations. So they are saying that they are funding to profit-making media outfits. Is not legal. It's not part of their mandate.
Okay.
I think they don't have problems with us. We are a non-profit. So they are also non-profit. So non-profit to non-profit. So now, since many big businessmen have contributed to that fund, they are very scared.
Okay.
Because they don't want to now. I don't know whether they would come up with the next round of funding.
Right.
So the first round they gave. So I think it is stuck there, you know. Yeah.
Okay. But when compared to the kind of problems NewsClick and Prabir Purkayastha have faced, you have not been so targeted so viciously or so directly.
Prabir Purkayastha was I think he's faced the worst form of, I would say, violence. There's nothing short of violence. The way the way the case was made, the way he was arrested, flimsy case. The FIR it's the most vague FIR one has ever come across, and more than that, 90 journalists were visited by the police and their devices were taken away. 90 journalists in the case of NewsClick, 90 journalists, over 230 devices. Never happened in the history of Indian. Even somebody told me, even during the British period, the Britishers also wouldn't have raided
so many journalists at
generally in a matter of 48 hours. You know, so many 90 journalists. You know, so I think Purkayastha was I would say the worst form of vindictiveness and vendetta. Probably because of his maybe left background, because this regime has a visceral hatred for the left. So I think that it's possible that that worked against probably his past association with the CPM. And also, of course, they got an investor who was friend of Prabir for decades, friend of many people here, studied in JNU.
He works very closely with the Chinese. I mean,
he works closely with the Chinese. So the government made out a narrative that there's Chinese money coming, and so there was a Chinese terror money, you know, and suddenly Chinese terror money. If it were Chinese terror money, then the US government would have gone after that investor, right? So, but US government found him perfectly, legitimate. His business, his earnings from China. So suddenly these people have they made it a big China conspiracy. Now, of course, Modi ji is embracing the Chinese, as we saw the Shanghai Cooperation Organization shaking hands and smiling. So I hope things get better for NewsClick now, you know. In the context of Chinese, the charge that they're getting Chinese money.
Especially now that it has become Hindi Chini bye again.
This is the first Diwali, Venki, I've noticed. First Diwali. You go back last 5-6 Diwalis. Before every Diwali, a campaign is launched against China.
Chinese
ban Chinese products. Don't buy Chinese goods. Don't buy Chinese toys. Don't buy Chinese this, that. For the first time, no word about China. Everybody, like Prime Minister never took China's name. Now all the minions are also not mentioning China.
I'm told that this Diya festival, which went into a world record yesterday at Ayodhya, 50% of the Diyas were from China.
Absolutely, 50. In fact, I have a theory about how Chinese goods are actually.
Since you are essentially a finance journalist, I mean,
So even Venkidesh, even the products that the proponents of Hindutva use, as you said, of course, Diya we all use as Hindus, particularly the Hindutva, when they do something on a grand scale, like Yogi Adityanath is used to doing some 5 lakh Diyas. So such a scale, only a Chinese firm can supply, you know. An Indian firm is not able to supply. And even otherwise, a large number of small traders in India, or people who make 700-800 rupees a month by selling small things, they all do it by selling Chinese money. So I think the Chinese goods, in my view, political economy, they sustain the trading livelihoods of good 80%, 90% of the self-employed people in India, who are 90% of total employed, you know.
But because, you know, coming to, you are essentially a kind of finance affairs journalist in your early days, you know. So, what is the kind of difference in finance affairs coverage that you see from your earlier days and from now?
So now, Venki, what has happened is even earlier, big businesses influenced policy, right? But there was a semblance of pushback against big businesses, right? Now, big businesses have become even more powerful, and this government, I think in India's history, no government has so closely aligned with big businesses, 4 or 5 or 6 big businesses, to drive the economy. So it has broken all records. So like everything, many things happened earlier, but
the scale
here it's happening on an industrial scale.
Right.
So therefore, you see 2 or 3 big firms running away with all the big contracts, big airports, big this, big. I mean the Ambanis and the Adanis and the Vedantas and the Birlas, Tatas. So everything is now direct negotiation. So if Modi ji wants a new parliament, he calls Shapurji Palunji and says, okay, do it. So there is that has changed in a way, and in some ways this attitude of the government is what is responsible for a lot of big foreign companies not coming to India. So,
like which are the foreign companies which you think are not coming to India because of this?
In fact, foreign companies have left India. A lot of foreign companies have left India. Ford, General Motors, Harley Davidson, because they feel that
it's a lopsided.
They feel that a lot of them feel there isn't level playing field.
Okay.
That's why the foreign investment into India last year was at almost near zero. Net FDI inflow was near zero.
Okay.
Never happened before, and people openly say this. Foreign investors openly say this.
Okay.
So I must add here. There's a book by Trump's previous term. There was a Commerce Secretary Commerce. I think Robert Lighthizer. He's written a book where he says that India's policy is essentially run by 7-8 big businesses.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
If you want to know India's policy,
go to the
7 big.
Yeah. No, but there is also this talk, especially in certain political circles and also in some business circles, that even among these 5-6 business groups which essentially control India's economic policy, Adani is clearly the
leader.
Or the most favorite. How are the other companies taking it? Because sometimes at the political level we also hear that the kind of preference that Adani has, or the kind of fondness that the Prime Minister has for Adani, it is kind of creating problems for other giants like Ambani's.
It is true. Yeah. In fact, what you said is very interesting, because recently I did a small video where I argued that the last 2 years of UPA was marked by massive disruption in the government's relationship with big business and relationship within big business, of people within big business. That's what led to this big thing about the revelations around spectrum scam, coal. So, famously Raghuram Rajan, when he was still advisor in the Prime Minister's office, he was a pro bono advisor
right.
before he became governor.
Yeah.
So, I still remember in 2013, he addressed an audience in the presence of Manmohan Singh and Monte Carlo Alia, all the policy makers, and he said this, that he critiqued the Prime Minister. Those days it was possible to critique the Prime Minister in his presence.
Yeah.
He said that there is India's economy is not reaching its optimum because it has reached a stage where resources have become scarce, and a lot of businesses are fighting for it, and there is no level playing. There is no proper
Level playing
objective regulation.
Okay.
Or so that you should give spectrum, coal, land,
Right.
on a more objective basis, not preferring one for the other. And he, of course, he basically said that if you don't do that, then you will keep hitting a wall. Then you'll reach your economy will not perform efficiently. He had said that, and after that, one saw how the spectrum scam spilled over onto the government. The fight among capitalists.
Yeah.
Even there, the case was that at that time, Anil Ambani felt that some others were being, his own brother was being favored,
Yeah.
or Tatas were being favored. So there was a big fight among the capitalists.
Okay.
Normally, even logically, the capitalists, they don't attack each other beyond a point. They work together. But that was the time when the UPA last 2 years, one saw this big divide among capitalists, and which
of course has got transferred to
politics, because they all fund politics.
Yeah. Now fund politics, but then of course, and also the growth of Adani in the.
But now I feel that at that time Adani was not on the scene.
Yeah.
The fight was among Tata, the Ambanis, and Birlas and all. Now I am seeing a similar pattern now.
Okay.
Where Mukesh Ambani and others, I don't think they don't say it publicly out of fear of Modi, because during Manmohan's time everybody would say it publicly.
Yeah.
Bombay would abuse him every day.
Yeah.
Today they are abusing the government privately. They don't say it publicly. But that problem is there, that Adani has become the richest Asian, among the richest Indians. And Mukesh Ambani, there are others, Vedanta competing with him, Tatas are competing. So there is a problem, and I think this can anytime get out of hand, and start impacting politics, which I think it did some time ago when the vice president suddenly quit.
Yeah.
And there was some talk that Anil Ambani and he were in touch, and things like that, or he was in touch with Chandrababu Naidu, and Chandrababu Naidu was in touch with the Ambanis.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of suspicion.
There was suspicion and a lot of rumors about what was happening.
Yeah.
But in the midst of all this, I mean, what you're talking about, there is also this projection that that India is emerging as a global economy. It's marching ahead, and it may ultimately, by the end of this decade, it may end up as the second largest economy in the world and all that. How do you look at projections like that?
See, it's very clear, Venki, that India is not showing its potential growth. Modi's 10 years, the growth has been about 6.5. It is not enough to become a big power, very soon. Like China, fast tracked its growth, and India and China were more or less at the same stage, some 25 years ago. But now China is 5 times. India.
What it was, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a bit like, as somebody said, that in fact I got this wisdom from a taxi driver. He from Bihar. He said, "Sab chota small kid, bachcha bada hota hai. There is a natural course of child becoming a boy becoming a man."
Yeah.
That's what is happening with India. So what is so great to celebrate about?
Okay.
So this is. So I would.
But there are countries which have not even shown this. So to that much credit you have to give.
Yeah. So you can argue that, because after all, India has India has 1.4 billion people.
Right.
So if 1.4 billion people, even if they do some small thing and make some nominal income,
right.
it will show up in the growth of GDP. But we on per capita income basis, we still remain among the bottom 30. We have not really.
And also, I think this is ultimately would create a completely imbalanced society, because
it's already creating an imbalance.
Yeah.
The inequalities, India's inequality levels are unprecedented, and it's an accepted thing now. Consensus even among Bombay businesses that after COVID, the recovery, they call it a K-shaped recovery.
Yeah.
So the there's a small upward mobility of, say, the top 5%.
Yeah.
Then there's a downward case, this thing, which is a longer one.
Yeah.
Of the bottom 70%, their incomes have not really moved. The needle has not moved for them. So, which is what has resulted in a 11-year period of subdued consumption demand. This has never happened. I have seen the economy, Venki, I've been watching the economy for the last 40 years. There has never been a 10-year period where consumption demand has remained stagnant and private investment has also remained stagnant. Because the cycle always moves up.
Right.
Within 10 years, there's a up cycle comes. 11 years is too long. We are still in a stagnant kind of cycle. But then we are even in that stagnant cycle, we are getting 6% growth. So,
right.
Yeah.
Of course, I think we are now getting into more serious governance-related issues. I mean, we're talking about media and the kind of pressures on media, but then we're coming to a core topic, and I think it actually deserves a separate discussion at some point of time.
Yeah.
We'll try and find time either in Kerala or in Delhi. But finally, I would like to conclude by asking, in a recent article, Prabhat Patnaik has kind of talked about how the process of globalization and the way we have implemented it in India, how that has created famine, especially among the agricultural communities. Would you be able to tell us something about how you perceive? Because I know that...
How it has created families? Who?
Famine. Agriculture, it has created a special kind of famine in the agricultural sector.
Yeah.
Of course, I know that it's a very big topic. But will you be able to summarize something? The point is that I am asking you this question specifically because you have also been a kind of you were not a you were never a no holds barred critique of globalization. Your position has been very nuanced on that.
You know, the answer to that is, even when globalization was being planned by the big powers through WTO, if you remember, agriculture was kept aside. The agreement on agriculture was not part of the
protocols,
the free trade agreement, because there, if you remember, the agriculture was by consensus kept out of this big free trade regime of trading for industrial goods manufacturing. So there was a recognition that agriculture is a different animal. Agriculture involves food production. Agriculture involves food security. So it can't be treated like something that you import and export. Also cultural, the Japanese would never want, they love the sticky rice, even if it's a costly production. They would not want sticky rice to be exported by the Americans, or the French would not want cheese to be exported by India or some other, because they are very culturally possessive of their cheese. So agriculture was separate. But what happened in the course of the last WTO, GATT through the 90s and last 35 years, is that agriculture has suffered because all the debates, all the progress, all the attention was on manufacturing and services. And the terms of trade, as they call it, economics, completely tilted towards manufacturing and services. So agriculture was left out in the cold.
Right.
And the only way which even Western powers could deal with agriculture was from the surpluses that they created from industry and services. Huge subsidies they poured onto the farmers. They gave farmers per head subsidy, the highest in EU and US. In fact, India is not even 20% of what they give. But poor countries, developing countries like India, we didn't have that wherewithal. We didn't have,
the money to spend
especially for agriculture, and we didn't spend. And so our farmers were hurt even more than probably the US or European farmers, much more than, because they were left to the devices, they were left to the market forces, And this government, particularly Modi, he came with the slogan that he'll double farmers' income or 50% over cost of production. Nothing happened about farmers. So that is the state we are in. That's why the farmers' agitation happened, right? The only agitation which shook this government.
The government, yeah.
And they had to concede. I think that problem is festering still. And to that extent, what Prabhat Patnaik is saying is right. When global capitalism, that's the other argument he's making, has been seized by big businesses.
Yeah.
Because when capitalism reaches its limit, Prabhat Patnaik has argued that normal capitalism within a democratic framework, normal democratic, which we have seen the last 50 years, that also ceases.
Right.
So capitalism is completely seized by the big businesses. The moment that happens, the farmers is bigger setback to farmers, because as it has happened here, who are the biggest supporters of the farm laws? We all know.
Yeah.
Right? The farm laws came because some big houses wanted it. So, but there was some resistance, subaltern resistance here. It was pushed back. Probably the RSS also did not support it. I think at that time the RSS
did not make its position clear.
No. Also, they kept making negative noises. Also.
Yeah.
So I think that, so there was India is very complex, but Indian farmers have been worse off actually. So it is true that as capitalism progresses, then it is the only way agriculture survives. From experience in the last 40-50 years is by taking surpluses from industry, services, and give it to agriculture, give it to farmers. Even that process is now Venki, it's kind of stalling. Right. So the farmers are really in the deep end now,
Well, I think as I was saying, this is a broader topic which needs to be discussed in greater detail. So we will try and do it, and I look forward to doing it. Thank you very much for giving us time, Venu. Very happy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.